Nice.
All right, we are live with the Lean Machine, Tom Holland. Well, first, Tom, thank you so much for joining us. Obviously, we are still riding the high of this past weekend. Absolutely
Mhm.
crazy. But overall, I think it was a great show. We have a lot to talk about, however, about your match. But let's just say I'm so happy that you were able to come back over here and do what you do best.
Mate, I appreciate being back there. It's obviously third opportunity now. Every time I've been over there, you treat us like real athletes. And that can't fault it. Everything's scheduled perfectly. We know where we got to be, when we got to be, and overall, there's some really good matches every single time. I
Yeah.
mean, there were some bangers last weekend, weren't there?
Yeah, the whole card was absolutely crazy. I mean, seeing, Ron Bath at 62 years young, like manhandle Mario Tabakis, obviously, just crazy. Gabby coming back on a win. I mean, we could go through every single match. It was nuts. But the reason why we are here is because of a little controversy that occurred, obviously, at Knuckles Up. Now, I can only say for myself and Chris, we do apologize. Obviously, we've been communicating this entire time as to what happened, but really, this is for the fans at home and for everyone to understand exactly what went down. So, Tom, if you don't mind, I'll just kind of give a base understanding for everyone of the match, us putting the match together, and then we'll go from there. Sounds good?
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
good, mate.
great. So obviously, we had thought it would be a great matchup between Tom and Ryan, to really show if Ryan could come down to your weight class, just how deadly you can be. And we just thought, in terms of intensity styles, you had both had matches against Beck Sung Yul at Knuckles Up previously, and those were both wars of a match. So we thought, obviously, this is going to be a killer. So, we agreed. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tom. The weight was 86 kilograms, right?
Yeah, that's what we both agreed. Like when the match was first organised, we both said 86. We both agreed,
Yep.
shook hands on it over WhatsApp, and yeah, that was it. It was all set.
Yeah. So 86 kgs. Just so people know at home, and me and my freedom units, Tom, I got to get my calculator out. That's 189.2 pounds for all of you guys on our side of the pond. 86 kgs was the agreement. Now, moving forward, obviously, I would say this was about 2 weeks out, I want to say, from the match. We did
About 2 weeks,
receive,
2.5 weeks.
yeah, 2.5 weeks. We did receive a message from Ryan saying that he was struggling to make weight. And our response, and I'm not the type of person to put screenshots up or whatever, but if anybody ever really needed them, we could show you. Our response was very simple. This is an agreement between you and Tom, but Chris and I do not agree with someone weighing in 48 hours before the match. Now, Tom, I'll let you take over from there. I believe that's when he messaged you, correct?
Yeah, well, that's it. I got the message from you guys asking if I'd heard from Ryan, and I was like, nah, not yet. Within a matter
Mm.
of like half an hour, I got a message from Ryan basically saying that he's struggling to. He's saying he's currently at about 93 kilos, 93.5, I think he said. And he's just pre warning me that he's going to be struggling to get down to the 86.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, that's absolutely fine, mate, but just let it be known if you don't make the 86, I'm going to let it known to everyone.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to take over the 86 kilo class, then you got to be 86 kilo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then he got back to me. He like starting a bit of banter sort of thing. It's 2 weeks before the match and that, a little bit of hype, getting each other's head and that.
Yeah.
There was nothing bad about that. What I was saying to him, just having a bit of banter. But then he said to me, "Oh yeah, I will do my best to get to the weight." I said, "Look, get as close as you can, and I'm happy with that. As long as you try, because we did have an agreement."
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And that is one thing for all you guys listening at home, just to understand. We don't have essentially championships in terms of weight classes at Knuckles Up. It's an agreement between two athletes. I know that there was some talk about, well, when he had pulled Andre, he was giving up a lot of weight to Andre, but in that matchup, right, there was no agreed weight. So technically both of them could have come in as heavy as possible. This
Yeah,
one obviously was a definitive 86 kgs. And we'll just fast forward a little bit, obviously, to the event. I saw Ryan I want to say he came in on Wednesday, I believe, right? Looking really light. I don't know exactly what weight he was, but he said he was going to make weight. I said, okay, great, fantastic. And that's kind of where the issue started, right, Tom? So
Yeah,
I
well,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, yeah, well, that's the thing as well. He was asking me. He was saying he's going to struggle to make the weight, and he asked me if he can make the weight 48 hours prior to the competition.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm like, no, because I want it on a level playing field.
Yeah.
I don't care how much weight you put on after that, as long as you weigh in at the correct weight at the correct time. You can go up to 110, 115 kilo if you really want to, if you can. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you make the weight on that specific time, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically, so it got to the Thursday. When I arrived there on the Thursday, as soon as I got to the hotel, I think it was about 1:45 in the afternoon, like early afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little video message from Ryan with a message saying that he'd made the 86 class, and he'd made the 86 weight. First thing I said to him is, right, he showed me the video and that he weighed himself on that scale. It weren't the official scale.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, fair play, but you're a little bit premature there because of why you're weighing on the Thursday when the weigh-in's on the Friday, like 24 hours before, like it's meant to be.
Yeah.
And then I said to him, well, no, I to be honest, I said to him, yeah, like I won't send the video to anyone either, and that because he said he don't want anyone to see him in his drop pants because he looks a mess. I think that's cool. I won't send no videos. He said, all right, thank you, mate. I'll owe you a few beers. I was like, well, I don't know why you owe me beers and that because I ain't said nothing to you. And then went about a business and that. Got to later in the evening and that. You're supplying all our meals, so we went down for dinner. And he was sitting at the table. I'm not going to mention names. These people know who they are, but he sat at a table eating some dinner. And then a couple of the guys said to him, "Oh, why are you eating? Like you're meant to be weighing in tomorrow." And then he turned around and said, "Oh, Tom's a gent. He said that I can do it because Tom's like a proper gent, so he don't mind. He's a nice guy." I didn't find out about this till later that night, and I was like, "Whoa, hang on a minute. I'm not that much of a gent." And then, so fast forwarding to the next day, the next morning, I obviously realised at that point he's putting weight on again. So I thought, right, I can't. He's definitely not going to make 86. So I thought, right, about 6:15 in the morning on the Friday morning, I messaged him, said, "Look, Ryan, I don't mind you being 90 kilo. If you weigh in at 90 kilo, I'll lie and I'll tell everyone that you was 86 on the weigh in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I know you've already started fueling up. I can't do nothing about it now, but just please, just don't go over 90 kilo for the weigh in."
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking now. And unfortunately, he read the message and he ignored it. He ignored the message. I'm trying to be nice to him. I said to him that I'm going to lie for him, and he just point blank didn't say anything back. I see him in the morning. He's fueling up again at breakfast. I'm like, right, well, what can I do? What can I do when I'm over there? I can't say, right, well, I'm not pulling you because if you guys have spent all that money,
yeah,
I'm going to pull him. Like, I don't care what it is. And then I found out. Well, obviously, I found out that when he weighed in, it wasn't an official weigh-in on the Thursday at midday. And I don't know who was with him, but I know it wasn't you or Chris.
Yeah, it was
or
not
any of the officials from the weigh-in. So that was his own weigh-in on his own scale. That scale could have been 30 kilos lighter for all I know. But that's irrelevant anyway. The main point of it is that he weighed in. I mean, what time did we pull? What time did the competition start?
So I'd say it started around 3:00, but he weighed in. Remember, just so let me interject here real quick. So everything. Let me also start off by saying, well, first of all, Thank you all for joining in. If you haven't already, please go follow the Lean Machines Arm Wrestling channel. Tom's been doing a great job, wants to grow his brand, so let's show him some love. Please follow his channel. But let me also start off by saying this is not something one-sided in any way. We did give Ryan the opportunity to come on here as well at any time that he wanted. He did deny. Unfortunately, he does not want to be part of this, and that's his own right. But we are just here to lay out the facts. So as Tom is stating, Ryan did weigh in on a scale that is not our scale. And I was actually, to be honest, very surprised, and I'll keep it as professional as possible here. We were essentially this time around, to save some time in the press conference, anyone who needed to be weighed in, we had a scale in the hallway. And you remember, Tom, we pulled you guys out. Hey, let's step on the scale, check it out. So everybody else, totally fine. Everybody was under like a kilogram under everybody's weight. And Lawrence Chalet, as the witness as well, saw you step on, and I believe you were 83.5 kgs. So you were actually almost 3 kgs underweight. And fully clothed. Yeah, you might add too. And Ryan stepped on the scale, and I remember in pounds, it was 219.5 pounds, which is just under 100 kilograms, right, Tom?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep. So he was 100 kilograms, and you saw my face, how shocked I was, because up until that point, I didn't know about this weigh-in. Chris didn't know about this weigh-in. All we knew was that you guys had, were speaking to each other, but the weigh-ins were still supposed to happen at the same time. So, needless to say, we want to take full responsibility. Just Tom, we want to apologize, myself and Chris, that maybe we should have handled it a little bit better, because it wasn't right and it was unjust and unfair to you. And we promise that, for all the fans at home, that you will never see this issue happening again.
I appreciate that, mate. But in all fairness, it's not actually your fault. Ryan's big enough, ugly enough, grown enough to know what's right and what's wrong. It's not his first time doing a competition. It's not his first time doing a weigh-in. He knows the rules.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It shouldn't have to take you guys to be keeping an eye on everyone. You didn't have to keep an eye on any other person in that room.
Yeah, exactly.
Not one person. Whenever there has been an official weigh-in at your past events, you probably never had to keep an eye on anyone to make sure they're doing it legit then.
Yeah.
I didn't want to come on here and do this. Like you said a minute ago, I give Ryan the option to come out himself and do this. I had a chat with Ryan after. I expressed to him how unhappy I was, and he didn't want to do it. But getting back to the scale, I mean, I see how shocked you were when he stepped on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you heard how shocked I was. Because I was right next to him when he weighed on it. When I see 219.5, there's a few curse words that come out of my mouth. I weren't happy. And the thing, I was going to let it go when you first called us down, because we were in the press conference room, and you just called us quick. I forgot about the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And then you called us both down quickly. You said, "Oh, Tom, Ryan, you got to do your weigh-in quick." I come down straight away. I was like, "Yeah, let's go." I'm not fussed anyway. I know Ryan's a little bit heavier, so yeah, he's gonna be around 90 kilo. And Ryan's refusing to stand up. Like, not refusing, but he's like, I can see he's putting it off. Yeah, he's hesitating for a few minutes. And I'm like, and the more we're standing there, the more I'm like, well, I want to see this guy's weight. Because he clearly don't want to get up here and do it. So I want to see this now. I need to see what it is. Like, and then he stepped on the scale, and that was his weight. And the frustrating thing for me about that was, I've never, in the past, knuckles up, in the past competitions that I've done before, all I need to know is what weight you're going to be.
Yeah.
Like this occasion, I asked Ryan if he wants to come down to the 86, because he was going around telling people that he wants to take over the 86 class. So I was like, right, this is your opportunity if you want to do that. I know you're going to put on like 7 or 8 kilo after you weigh in at 86 officially, but if you weigh in at 86, I'm cool with that. I had a match a couple of weeks ago that I intentionally lost a bit more weight just because I want to know. So that's why I wasn't weighing up to 86 kilo. If he told me that he wanted to come in heavier than 86, I would have come in heavier than 86.
Yeah.
As well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just bit of fair notice, then I could have done something about it as well. But it's the fact that I give him the chance to. Well, I'll try giving him leeway to weigh in at 90 kilo, and I said to him that I'd lie. I don't like lying, but I said to him that I'd lie and say he was 86 anyway. But then he comes in 10 kilo heavier than what I thought.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was a bit of a kick in the balls for me, to be honest, and that did piss me off a bit.
Yeah,
but that's honestly that's no one else's fault but his, because of, like I said, he's a grown man. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
he knows that he should have been at that weight, especially with the conversation. Well, with the message that I sent him in the morning.
Yeah,
and I can't see it in any other way of being that he just chose to ignore the message and just wanted to put on as much as possible. He knew when the weigh-in was, and that was that part of the story.
Yeah, and the truth of the matter is, Tom, is we, myself saw the weight. I would say that was at about, because our press conference is at 5 p.m. So I would say I saw his weight at about 4:30 p.m. Right before the press conference. And you brought up a very good point. And this is not an excuse in any way, but not just as a promoter, but as fans at home, they wanted to see the match, right? So you, as a stand-up puller and gentleman, is like, I'm going to do this match, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what he weighed the day of, because we don't weigh the athletes obviously the morning of the match, right? But being 219 pounds the day before and still being able to eat more, by all means, he could have been 230. I don't know. I mean, the guy looked absolutely massive. So I will say it's a massive testament to you and your character that you still got up there and fought that match. I think it was absolutely incredible. I know we have some more discussions in terms of talking with Ryan about, payouts and all that type of stuff, because things were not met. And that's another discussion for another time. But one thing I would want to do before we move on is just kind of get an understanding here of, for everyone at home, so they understand is because I've seen a lot in the comments here, like, oh, why didn't they have an official weigh-in? Why didn't they do that? So let me just state again, guys. So the way we do things here at Knuckles Up is it's an agreement between two athletes. So let's say Tom told Ryan he wanted Ryan to be 90 kgs and Tom could be as heavy as he wanted. Great. That's the agreement. All we need as a promoter is, hey, this is the weight you need to make, and we're going to weigh you in at the press conference. All this other stuff happened on Ryan's end prior to the weigh-in, so we weren't even privy to the information. So we do apologize to all the fans at home, especially the Lean Machine fans, that you guys felt he was robbed. But let me just say, Tom was not robbed in his heart, his performance, and his integrity. If anything, it just shows how much of an up-class athlete he is. To turn this, Tom, to move forward from this, the first question I would have to you, and I don't know if you would even accept this, if the terms were met appropriately, would you want to have a rematch?
I'd be open to a rematch, but I'll just say though, like, I need to clear this up quickly. There's probably a few people out there still that think I'm doing this to like try and bitch and complain because I lost a match. But I've lost so many matches in the last couple of years. Do you know what I mean? I don't complain. I'm the first one to congratulate them when they beat me, even if it's a whitewash. I'm the first one to say, right, fair play, you're the man. Don't care how big you are, how much smaller you are than me. You beat me. I chose to fight you, and you beat me. Congratulations. Like, that's it. It's the aftermath of it when he's saying that he'd done the weight cut legit. He's actually using the words like I'd done the weight cut fairly within 24 hours, and he's misleading people. And I still weren't going to say anything. Like, I'm not that guy that wants to cause this shit. I don't like airing my shit. I'm quite a personal guy.
Yeah.
But when I've got so many people that are backing me and that just aren't happy with what happened in general, like, he got booed. I didn't want him getting booed.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I didn't want. That's not what I want. But when I've got so many people on me, like, it's making me think, you know what, they've all got a fucking point. But at the same time, I'm like, this is right. I have got to say something, really, but I'm not saying it. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to make excuses, because there's no excuses. I fought him on the day. I chose to fight him on the day still, and that's that. And it's the honesty that gets to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be honest. That's all you got to do. That's all it is. That's one thing that grates me most.
Yeah.
If you can't be honest, and I know I was still biting it, but in the end, it's got to enough's enough. Like I said, I give him the opportunity to come on here. Like we give him an opportunity to sort it out on a call, and I said to him, "Look, you are better off doing this in your own way, airing this out yourself. Like save yourself a little bit." Again, I got ignored. I was like, "Well, it's literally out of my hands. I've got to do something about this. I've got to get the news has got to get out there because people are being misled,
Yeah.
and it is affecting my rep slightly."
Sure.
Uh,
Sure.
yeah. But like I said, I've lost so many matches, like in the past and that, to heavier guys. But the difference is they didn't lie about it, and
Yeah.
they made a weight cut. Some of them were a weight cut that's heavier than my original weight, but I was like, right, I'll just come up to that weight. They make it all legit. I lose to them. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
I ain't got a problem losing.
Yeah, I do think, Tom, I mean, there are so many. I have Matarangi's comment up right now, and Jason Merlot's in the chat. Devin Larrett was in the chat, and everyone really is coming to bat for you to show their love and their support for how much integrity you do have within this sport. And I think that's a testament to you've been pulling now for how many years?
Just 18 years now. 18 years. I
18
started when I was 15.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
January 2007 when I was 15. Yeah.
Yeah,
18 years now.
absolutely incredible. Um, It's just sad, guys. At the end of the day, I didn't want to have to do this. I know Tom didn't want to have to do this. But when everyone reaches out and is saying what happened, this happened, blah 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 blah, to just say it once, to say it clearly, officially, Ryan Bowen did not make weight. Unfortunately, we did not know about that until the day before. And Tom, being the gentleman that he is, said he would still do the match, and he was going to bang in there as hard as he could. So it is what it is. We're going to move forward from it. I know Tom's going to have bigger and better matches coming up. I know, Tom, we would love to have you back at Knuckles Up. But a question I want to propose to you and to anybody in the chat, don't forget, obviously, follow Tom's page, The Lean Machine Arm Wrestling. Right? It's The Lean Machine Arm Wrestling.
Lean Machine Arm Wrestling. Yeah.
Lean Machine Arm Wrestling. Please go follow his page. We even have Big Laws in the chat as well, putting a comment. Maybe moving forward, weight needs to be agreed by KU and set time and scale needs to be used in front of the KU team member. I've never seen a weigh-in arranged between athletes. Very good point, Laws. And that is a perfect segue to my question for you, Tom, is now myself, Laws, coming from strength sports, a lot of times it's 24-hour weigh-ins, but back in the day, it used to be 2-hour weigh-ins. Do you even think it's appropriate that someone can get 24 hours to refuel? Because I have seen in the past easily somebody put on 20 to 30 pounds in 24 hours.
I mean, I'd be happy to pull him like that. I honestly would.
Yeah.
Like I said it from the start, as long as you make the 86 kilo, I don't care on the correct time, on the correct schedule. I don't care how much weight you put back on. Even if I lose, it won't matter. There'll be nothing. There'll be none of this coming up.
Yeah.
I'll pull you. I'll pull you if you're 130 kilo, and
Yeah.
I'm 75 kilos. You know what I mean? As long as I know where I stand, I know what I'm working with. Because on this occasion, I didn't know what I was working with. Like I said, I cut weight a couple of weeks ago just for my own clarity on another match that I had.
Sure.
I didn't want to be too heavy for another match that I had. And I didn't manage to put on enough weight in time. In all honesty, I didn't think I'd need to.
Yeah.
But if I knew the situation, I would have tried a lot harder to get right onto 86 and probably pushed it on a bit more if I knew the situation. But with like the same day weigh-ins and stuff, I think a same day weigh-in is fair if they're walking around the weight.
Yeah.
Like I think a same day weigh-in, like I wouldn't want. This is the thing with me as well. I wouldn't want someone to do like a 10 kilo cut and then have to pull like 3 or 4 hours later because it's not their natural weight. And if I do beat them, what am I getting out of it? I've beaten someone who's depleted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather him fuel up again. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm like that. I'm stupid like that. Like I'd
Yeah.
rather beat someone at their best. Like there's another one I pulled Bojidar a few weeks ago
Sure.
in Germany. They said to me, "Oh, what arms do you want?" I was like, "What arm's better?" Like, "Oh, his left arm." I was like, "I'll pull his left arm."
Sure.
Like, "Oh, you sure? You'll have a better chance beating him on the right." I'm like, "I'm not fucking here for that. Like, I don't want to beat him on an arm that's weaker. I want to beat you." Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's just me. I want to get the best of people, and if they're doing a 10-kilo cut and I'm pulling them with it, if they're going to struggle within 24 hours, like to regain everything again, they shouldn't be cutting that weight within a 24-hour weigh-in. Simple as that. In my opinion, he don't belong in the 86. Not with a cut like that. If he's like hovering around 93 and he does a cut like that, maybe.
Yep.
But a 2-hour weigh-in, I probably wouldn't even want to pull him at an 86-kilo class with a 2-hour weigh-in because it wouldn't be worth a bag of shit.
Yeah,
Not
it's
in
a
a
very
bad way.
it's a very interesting predicament, right? Because, for myself, right? Like I'm a super heavyweight, right? We just introduced for the Arnolds a 275-pound class. So I'd love to get down to 275. But if I'm like 280, dropping 5 pounds, no problem. 5 pounds is nothing, right? Like 1 kilo. It's not a big deal. But dropping all that weight, my perspective also is, as the promoter, is the health of my athletes is actually also very important to me, right? So knowing how Ryan, said he was struggling so much to make weight, um, his words, not mine. On the floor of the sauna, all that type of stuff. It's not healthy for the athlete either. And no matter what, that individual is not going to perform at their absolute best, just like you said, right? I'd
Yeah,
rather make sure it's an athlete who is comfortable at their weight. Maybe it's 5, 10 pounds away, not a big deal. Something that you sit in the sauna for an hour or two, you're there, versus, people taking diuretics to try to get their weight class, people doing all these unconventional things, depleting themselves of their electrolytes, literally giving themselves to the point of convulsion. And then all of a sudden they weigh in and now they're supposed to replenish. You're never going to be back. Your tendons take days to rehydrate, not hours.
mhm.
Your brain function, everything, right, is massively effective. So yeah, it's just, if it were me, I know Chris and I disagree on this. I would always want 2-hour weigh-ins because then I always have matches with people who are supposed to be there, right? Because like you said, like someone who walks out around at 100 kgs doesn't want to do a 90 kg class if they know they have to weigh in at 2 hours. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of times the matchups will then there won't be as many options for us. But should those options occur, I don't know. Now we could have people like yourself who are happy to challenge people heavier. I know you've had some wars, correct me if I'm wrong, in the UK with Mindis Dulskis, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's down to like. I mean, amongst the UK, and that's down to knowing the opponents. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm good at sussing people out. The more I pull you, the better chances. And that it's not a strength thing in that case for me. I don't
Good
think
point.
amongst the UK. But it's like you said. I don't mind pulling the heavyweight guys at all, as long as I know where I stand. And with the tournament, you're talking about the 2-hour weigh-ins and that.
Yeah.
It's a 2 to 3 hour weigh-in when you're doing the tournament. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Thank you for that, Tom. I forgot about that, right?
So
You go to any tournament, you're weighing in an hour, 2 hours
not
beforehand.
at the time, yeah. The odd one here and there, and that you'll get a day before weigh-in. But
Yeah.
most of the time, you just rock up on the day, weigh in, you go in at your natural weight, like,
Yeah.
and then you know
Uh,
who's the man in that weight class. Then in a way,
it's a very, very good point. Like I know I'm actually messaging because Devin was in the chat. I'm shooting him like, hey, you want to join? I highly doubt he will, but
mm,
he's another great example, right? Like Devin, massive leverages. He's able to, cut weight pretty drastically. I think he just did a match in was it the 95 kg class? I think he has the title now, or I'm sorry, 105. 105, I think it was.
mm,
And he was able to get down there. And that's, not easy for a guy who's 6'6", I think he is 6'7". He's huge.
yeah. There's a
But
lot of people that do it in there. Like
yeah,
most, realistically, 99% of these world title matches, these world class super matches, they're doing a big cut, and they know what they're doing, and they'll put the weight on correctly as well. but they're making the cut. They're doing it on time, and they're on a level. They're on a level playing field with their opponent because their opponent's doing the same thing. They're probably doing
Yeah.
the same cut.
Yeah.
They're depleting at the same time and they're replenishing at the same time at the
Sure.
same rate. So it's an even playing field, and they're both making weight. I mean, I'm sure no one will be happy if someone else missed a weight cut by like over 10 kilo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a no. It's a no. That
If
is.
it's a kilo or two, like you said, like you were very generous. You said, you can come in at 90 and I'm okay with that. 4 kilos, still a good amount of weight. That's a lot of replenishment into the body, into the muscles. I know when I was, if you guys run it back, and by the way, the pay-per-view is still available. You guys can go see this match. Go to thehigh5aw.com and get it now. If you watch me during the interview, the post-match interview, I'm standing there and I'm kind of like staring at him because he looks like a gorilla. I mean, the guy was 3 times his size from the day prior. I mean, obviously he had a pump from the match and everything, but I mean, I was like, whoa, this guy looks like Marcio Barbosa across the table from me. So, yeah, it definitely was something unfortunate that occurred. That's all I can say is, we do have some people in the chat asking, should we overturn this result and make it a no contest? In terms of who the winner of the match was, because it's not for a quote unquote like title, I'm fine with it either way. I'd have to speak with Chris to see if we were to overturn the match. I think what I'll leave it with is I think Tom is going to go on to bigger and better things. I know, shout out to Neil Pickup. They're going to be releasing, correct me if I'm wrong, in a day or two, the Dart card.
Yep.
Yep. So I'm sure he had a crazy match there. I don't know who the winner is. All I was told was it was nuts. So make sure you go over to their YouTube channel and follow. Subscribe to Arm Wars. I heard it was one of the craziest cards they've ever had. We appreciate all the support from Neil as well. He did reach out to us with some concerns because, it really is important to make sure that we hold this sport to a higher standard. And that's something that we, as you know, Tom, that's our goal here, right? Is to go above and beyond in every facet of the sport, how we treat you guys, how we run the competition, the rule set, everything. So moving forward, I think that's going to be our biggest goal, is to make sure mistakes like this never happen again. It's just funny because normally, Tom, people really don't care about what the weight is. And then obviously when this happens, right, because they're such big fans, they're like, oh, what the hell? Blah, blah, blah. So I think we're going to have to bring the scale right back in for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to catch up on the chat a minute. There's a couple of people that I've noticed a couple of people saying that when we mentioned the same day weigh-in for tournaments, I did actually say as well, because people saying, no, that's nonsense because there's always been weigh-ins the day before. I never said there hasn't. There always has been weigh-ins the night before a tournament, but you do get the same day weigh-ins as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. And you never used to get the night before. In like WAF, Europeans, big competitions, you get the night before. But I'm just talking about generally, like at least for in the UK, before the last few years, there wasn't a night before weigh-in for nationals and things like that. It's always same day weigh-in.
Yep.
I wouldn't be. That's what I mean. Sorry, I wouldn't want to. It's like I said, I wouldn't get any glory in beating someone if they're not 100%. If they feel like they've done a massive cut and they're not 100%, especially if they're within a 2-hour weigh-in, a 6-hour weigh-in, same day weigh-in, even if it's 12 hours before, they're doing a major cut. They're not going to be 100%. I'm not going to be happy with taking that win.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. Just so you guys know, I am texting Chris as we speak. Unfortunately, he is stuck in another business meeting, but the results are in. You're going to hear it here live officially, and we will be making an official post all across all of our socials. We have overturned the rule, and Tom Holland is officially the winner of the match due to disqualification of not making weight by Ryan Bowen. Boo! And the world goes crazy. But no, but it is something that Chris and I actually have spoken about literally since the day of. And honestly, once everything unfolded, we just wanted to as we said, we gave the opportunity for both of you to join in today, and Ryan unfortunately did not accept that invitation. But we will be officially overturning the results, and we will be making a post about it. So not in the fashion that he wanted to, but as a class act, your new winner, Tom
Yeah, I
Holland.
mean, this is not to be honest, yeah, this is not the way that
No, and it shouldn't
anyone
be,
wants.
Tom. It shouldn't
No
be.
one
It's
wants
just
to win it,
it's
especially
a
me.
it'll always be an asterisk, right, at the end of this match. So maybe we do have to have a rematch one day, and we do a 2-hour weigh-in or a 3-hour, maybe it's a 5-hour weigh-in, whatever we find. And we run this back one more time. But that being said, yep, we will overturn the result. I think it's fair to the community. I think it's fair to yourself, because you've been nothing but a class act this entire time. I'm sure Ryan will feel otherwise. That's okay, and we're always open to discussion. Um, but moving forward, as I said, we will be doing a much better job of making sure these things don't happen. And all I can say is, um, it was very unfortunate, for yourself and for the fans, right? We want to make sure that they see the wars that they want to see.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's like I said, mate. This isn't. I don't, for myself. Obviously, I don't. I'm not taking any glory if there's
Yeah,
classed as a win.
yeah,
I'm not
sure.
taking any glory from that whatsoever. It's not what I. I'm not trying to get Ryan disqualified out of that or anything like that. It's not what I'm about. Um, in terms of a rematch, I don't think he's going to take a rematch at 86.
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
would.
he will. Because
Yeah,
I'll make sure I'm 86. I'll make sure I cut to 86 if that happens again.
yeah,
Do you know what I
I
mean? And,
understand. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he wouldn't
So
do that. But
what we'll do is we will just leave it as like essentially a null and void match, with the opportunity to have a rematch in the future. Um, who knows? Maybe Knuckles Up 6, the return of Ryan Bowen.
hmm.
Bowen, what are we at? Like 6.0 now, 7.0? I'm not sure.
Mm.
But I'm sure the good old Tom Holland will come in as the lean machine once again. Guys, if you are still in the chat, awesome. We have 145 people watching live, which we absolutely appreciate. Don't forget to follow the Lean Machine Arm Wrestling channel. Tom is going to be putting out more content, and he has some big matches being released this week with Arm Wars. So please support them as well. We appreciate all of their support. Tom, before we hop off, I just want to give you the floor one more time. If there was anything you'd like to say to Ryan Bowen, because I'm hoping, or I'm sure he'll be listening at some point.
Yeah, it's like I said, Ryan. Like I didn't want any of this to happen, mate. I just want to, I want to win legit. I want to lose legit. If you're up for a rematch, we can do it. We'll do a 24-hour weigh-in, 18-hour weigh-in, whatever you want to do. I don't know if you want to make the cut to 86 again, but you should do it a bit smarter next time, in my opinion. Like I said, I wouldn't want to go against you if you feel like you're going to be feeling depleted. I want to go against the best version of you, but I'm not. My aim isn't above 86. I'm hovering around 82, 83 kilos. So I'm happy being at this in between stage now, wherever I could put on a few kilo or lose a few kilo, going down to 80. That's where I fancy my chances most. Yeah, but all I could do is apologise, Ryan. But this wasn't the right thing to do, mate. This wasn't the right thing to do. I'll give you the opportunity to come clean about this, and many opportunities to come clean about this, and you haven't. So I don't know what to say, to be
Yeah,
honest. If
that's
you want a
quite all
rematch
right.
in the future, we can have a rematch in the future. We'll do it legit, and we'll find out who's really the man. But I haven't come on here looking for a rematch or looking for redemption. I just want a bit of honesty from the man.
Yep. Completely understandable. Tom, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. It's going to be an interesting future for Knuckles Up. We have some big things planned for the future. I know we're going to be doing the Arnold Classic in just over 4 weeks. I wish you could be there. I'm sure you could show some of these tournament guys what it's all about. But we will definitely be having you on another card soon. I'm going to just say it one more time. Spread the love, like, comment, subscribe, go follow the Lean Machine Arm Wrestling. Tom, thanks for being a great guy, and thanks for hopping on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate it, mate. Thanks a lot for, and just glad to clear this all up now, mate. Hopefully there's a bit of clarity for everyone else watching. And yeah, we'll just move forward from here now.
That's it,
On to the-
100%.